So, hey, JoAnn, how's it going today?
It's going wonderful. It's another interesting day,
How so?
you know, weather-wise, information-wise. Um, we've had the red suns, which I think everybody's had a lot of red sun from the fires. That was in somebody's prophecies
Okay.
that we would see the red suns when things were changing big time.
But
And
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say every, at the turn of the century, at the turn of, when we went from the 1800s to the 1900s, that century, it was the end of the world. There was prophecy. The year 2000 was going to be the end of the world. 2012 was going to be the end of the world. So why is this different?
and I don't feel like it's the end of the world by any means. And, I think the reason you always heard it was because they were told the great change was happening. But our time is we're the only ones that have time, linear time. And so when you have spirits speaking to you and this type of thing, they see things in the moment. So I don't think they were all just crying wolf or wishing, although some of them, like, they really thought end of the world. I don't think end of the world by any means. I think end of the world as we know it, perhaps. But look how quickly that happened when they said, hey, pandemic.
Right.
So the end of the way of life is pretty easy to change. If you've got all the facilities, the news, everything else to make it happen. But and this morning when I got up, it seemed like a warm day. It was supposed to get down in the 30s. It got up to it only went down to 45. I stepped outdoors and it was like ice, icy air. And the sun was like not putting out any warmth because of all the haze that's here.
Yeah.
And then I noticed yesterday all the birds, the bird tribes, someone, Carrie, wrote the book called Return of the Bird Tribes. And I asked what was going on the other day, and they said, oh, because the vultures are just thick around here right now. And, they're the cleaners of the earth. And they said the cleaning is almost done. Or the cleanup is almost done. Something like that. So, it's all happening. I wish we'd wake up tomorrow morning and we'd have paradise. It may take till day after tomorrow. I'm not sure.
Okay, but time is a construct. Time doesn't really exist. So when spirit gives us those messages that things are changing and there is going to be peace, we don't know the timing because there is no time.
Absolutely. You can only go by what you intuit, what you feel in your heart, because we do know at some level exactly what's going on.
So how do you discern what you intuit in your heart versus your desire?
Oh, I think you have to be very cautious there. Very cautious. But usually when you intuit something from the heart, it isn't always very logical. Okay? It can seem, it's like you're looking around and you're seeing what's really going on in the world, and then you feel something, or you intuitively know something, and it makes not a lot of sense in the real world. If you wanted to talk, like I do it all the time. I talk to people about this kind of stuff, and it's like, where are you coming from? Look around, So, yeah, and I kind of know my desires. It's like, gee, I want this to be this way and this to be that way, but I also know those are mine. Those are probably my idea of how it should look. But when I've got long held ideas and stuff, then I'm pretty sure those have come from intuitiveness. Something that's hung on for a very long time, and like I say, intuitiveness does not always make logical sense.
Right. Well, and I think that's why over, the millennia and generation after generation, we pushed down our intuition because it didn't always make logical sense, because intuition, even in men, is part of that divine feminine feature,
Absolutely.
and so that's just been so pushed down by women as well as men.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, so that makes sense now. When you say that, it
Right.
makes sense to me. Interesting.
Well, and coming into this matriarchal time, or time of the feminine, women aren't trying so hard to make it in the business world by doing the same things men are doing. They're taking back their power and they're working from their intuition, which is huge. And it's a very peaceful way to do business.
Absolutely.
It's a very peaceful way to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that we can see.
Very receptive and honoring and respectful way. There's a lot of talk about, we're coming into the time of the matriarch, as you say it, where, the divine feminine is on the forefront. However, I feel very strongly that, the ultimate goal is to blend the two, the feminine and the masculine. And so, I kind of like that divine feminine with sacred masculine. And I think, well, we've been in this patriarchy in more of a negative sense, where we've kind of misused that sacred masculine energy. It's just been bastardized, if you will. And now hopefully we'll get to the divine feminine. But then after that, I think there needs to be more of a blending. I think once we sit with that divine feminine for a while, we can start bringing back the sacred masculine.
Okay, I think that's what's happening right now. Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's what's happening right now.
You think that's already happening? I like to
Yeah,
hear.
see, we've already had matriarchy in some times and
True,
true. So it makes no sense to go from one to the other, from one to the other. And
right.
Women have not been treated well. But then again, if you look at men, they have been stereotyped also. Don't show your feelings. Don't cry. Don't do this. And so, yes, the whole point of this is to have a blending to where we are finally partners. We finally can be who we are and blend, like you said, blend with each other. I see it out here at the ranch when I watch a male father of the kitty cats letting the kitty cats suckle on his boobies. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that so flippin' interesting?
Yes.
He's allowing his nurturing side to be there. I look at some of my grandkids and they have far more nurturing qualities than boys used to have. You know what I'm saying?
I know. I was hanging out with the kids, the other day, and we were drawing, and the 5-year-old boy wanted me to draw a merman instead of a mermaid. He's like, well, boys can be mermen.
I think that's beautiful.
So I drew one, and he's like, he needs a beard. So I was like, woohoo. So we had a merman. His name was Bob.
I love that. I love that.
He kind of looked like Neptune had a love child with, the mermaid. So it was interesting. But you're right. I think that younger generation, it's more easy and it's just happening more naturally. And they're not corrected. You know, no adult was going to say to him, "Oh no, that has to be a girl." We're in the past. That's what was said to us.
Exactly, exactly. I
So,
I know that my granddaughter had spent some time with her son on an individual basis, and one of the things he wanted to do was knit in one of those little knitting machines.
sure.
So that's what they did, you know. So I think the new moms and dads are, you know, not all of them, but there
No,
are many that
but
are going a different direction.
I like that.
I do too.
I
I
think
do too. Let everybody be who they are.
I would like to draw a card from Kyle Gray's Keepers of the Light. Um,
Okay.
and let's pose a
Nice.
question around this um, divine feminine, sacred masculine. Um,
Okay.
asking, you know, who who is a keeper, that who is someone that could guide us to bring these two principles um, together in our day-to-day life for our highest good. Who can help show us the way and keep that in
Excellent.
the forefront of who we are and how we want to be in this world. um, that was a lot, so let me pare that down so the universe doesn't get too overwhelmed with my question. um, what do we need to know? Well, this is about, you know, these are beings on these cards. So, who can help us blend our divine feminine and sacred masculine for our highest good?
Excellent.
And interesting, of course, it's interesting, right? I've never pulled this card.
Larian. You know, and instantly it makes me feel joyful, you
Right.
know, hilarious, you know, Hilarion.
I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I would say Hilarion, Hilarion, and it's
Right,
divine healing. Honor your sensitivity, retreat to recharge and heal. Your light can support others. Now, what's interesting is it's a man. It appears to be a man. We'll say that. And they're talking about honoring your sensitivity.
right,
And
right.
you had just brought up, you know, men are taught not to cry or show their feelings. And so I've got goosebumps because you can't make this shit up, right?
I know. I know. I think it's
And
nothing short of amazing.
it's magic, it's miraculous, it's amazing when you're in tune and in touch and you're open. You will get messages for sure.
Absolutely. You will, you know, we're not just stuck down here on our own. We've got so much assistance if we just pay attention.
All right, let's see if I can read okay today. I get so engrossed in what I'm reading that I lose my place and I'm thinking, and so I'll try to be clear today. Hilarion is a spiritual master who lived in the Middle East during the 4th century. At the age of 15, he felt the call to go to the retreat of Saint Anthony in the Egyptian desert. This was busy with people needing healing, so after a while he went back home with some monks. During that time, his parents passed away, and it is said that Hilarion was also devoted to service. He was so devoted to service, he gave all of their estate to his brothers and the poor. For the rest of his life, he lived as a hermit in a cave and was said to perform miracles with his prayers and touch. To this day, he is dedicated to healing, but he also helps spiritual people who feel overly sensitive to overcome their challenges. and integrate with the normal world. The world can seem overwhelming to you, and it's okay to retreat to a safe space every now and then to cleanse and recharge your energy. You may feel called to serve others or share your healing with them, but please ensure you are filled up with light, love, and energy first, so that you are not sacrificing your own development for others. You are surrounded by the healing light of Hilarion and the healing angels at this time so that you can recharge and feel whole. These stories are so new to me. Yeah, this is incredible.
That was an interesting story too.
I get that. You go.
Go ahead. Nope, you go.
Well, to me, this is all about balancing your heart chakra. Whether you're an empath, and you're, or not that empaths are overly sensitive, but like an empath that has trouble with boundaries and that you feel everything, or which is typically that feminine energy, or that masculine energy where you kind of block that and you need to open the heart up more. So this is a nice balance. He's all about the green, which is the heart chakra,
Right.
in that chest area. And yeah, and he's got green eyes and everything. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, my thought is, it used to be, people would go, I totally agree that we need to make sure we take care of ourselves. Okay. Make sure we're filled with light, that we have our alone time, that we have our take care of us time. But the time of going into a cave and being a hermit for any length of time, that's kind of past, because we are needed. Our light is needed out where it shines out for everybody. We've walked into more of our power because of what he did and what many other prophets did. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. All we have to do is acknowledge our power. They've done the hard work. They did all the groundwork, and everything, as far as in my truth, was directed at this time.
Okay.
We're not going to go on forever and ever and ever saying there's peace in the wings, there's peace in the wings. That's not going to happen. We are getting very, very close to that exact thing. So therefore, it's time for us to engage with our power and our healing. It has become, I just read something the other day that was written in 92 that was channeled information that said, now you can touch someone, whether it's just a consoling or if you're working in the healing arts, and your souls will automatically converse, and you will be asked, okay, is it in the highest wisdom for this person to heal? And if so, then allow him or her the ability to heal themselves. You don't need a healer. You need someone simply to open the door for you to understand that, oh, this isn't part of my life plan to never heal. And, sometimes that is part of the life plan. But at this time, a whole lot of these life plans and karma have been done away with.
Right.
And so sometimes there's something inside that's just waiting for permission to say, of course, this is a dream. I can heal. This is virtual reality and I'm creating it.
Right.
So we've advanced to where we're honoring the God within us. We're not honoring something outside of us. Okay?
Well, and I think that really speaks to, because that was loaded. And so I'm going to bring us back a little bit. I mean, that we could talk for days on just those couple minutes you just said. But, you know, with him going back into the cave literally, and you saying, you know, we don't have to do that anymore. You know, we're beyond that. We don't have to do that because those prophets did that for us. I see it metaphorically too, about going within to, you know, like he went there for solitude and for healing for himself, to keep himself rich and pure and in touch with his sacredness, to not be in the material world. And we can
Right.
do that as we're in the world, wherever we're at. We can go within, because that's, you know, that's our Christ light, that's our God spark, that's right, just like you're saying, you know, it's not out here, and we don't have to, you know, go hibernate to get in touch with that. We can do that within ourselves. That's how much we've evolved spiritually since then.
Right.
So I really, really, really like that.
Well, yeah, and you know that we owe great gratitude to those who did it before us, and maybe we are some of those people, right?
Right, absolutely. You know, yeah, yeah. When you really resonate with something, you're remembering because you were part of that. You know, you and I have talked about, like, when I read something, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited. It's like, you know, this just really gets me excited. And you're like, well, you wrote it, you know, thousands of
Yeah,
years ago. And that like went, "Pooh." I was like, what? You know, but yeah,
yeah,
that's possible. And when we open our minds to all that's possible, this is a multiverse. You know, we're multidimensional, we're multifaceted. It's not this or that, you know, it's not black and white. You know, all these things are possible. So,
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah,
mm,
that's why I get so excited about now,
yeah,
this moment. That's why it would take a lot to convince me that things aren't different right now, that things aren't changing immensely, you know, because that comes from a knowing. You
hmm,
know, I always knew there was something else from the time I was born, you know, that there was something big going on.
and that's
And
why we're here now, is for that something.
absolutely, absolutely.
Well, that is good news indeed. And it is time for that meditation. This went fast.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. Well,
I know I
let's
sprung
take,
that one on you.
oh yeah. I'm always surprised when it is time, just because we have so much fun talking,
I know.
right? So let's take a couple deep breaths, deep heart breaths, because our new world is a heart world.
Mm.
And so we'll take some deep breaths. We'll unleash our heart light. We'll expand the light of the Christ that's shining through us. And we're in orbs. We've expanded our light to where we're in orbs. And we're seeing two of ourselves. We're seeing the male or female part of us that we're living right now, and we're seeing the male or female part of us that we have lived many times before.
Mm.
Yes, and in all these lifetimes, you'll see us, you'll see a kind of a line of people standing in front of you, male and female. And as you look more closely, you realize that they're all you. They are all you. Actors and actresses that have played different roles. All to learn, all to to experience emotion, to experience it, not to hang on to it, to experience it, to make yourself much, much more spiritual, more understanding, more tolerant. And as we're watching this, we're seeing them all coming together. It's very interesting. You can just, it's like they've trained for this. They're all stepping into a line, and pretty soon it's like a straight line of people, and then there's less and less, and they're coming closer and closer, and the last one steps within you. And what has happened is that you have brought your entire self together, your male and female. And when you do this, you promote by example, by thought, by word, the same thing in everyone else on this planet. It takes away the polarity. This is a planet of polarity. That's what it's been, but it's not staying that way. We are walking into a planet of peace. Look at all these P's. A planet of peace. It used to be polarity, and we're going into paradise. And as we do this, your light becomes so bright you can hardly even keep your eyes open. And we're going to shine that light now out from us. We're going to saturate our Mother Earth. We are saturating our Mother Earth with this light. And there's a collective sigh. Sounds like the wind, just a little breeze, but it's a collective sigh of all on the planet and the planet herself. We are all one. That is the change that we are in the midst of this very moment. That is the change that we are creating this very moment. So rest in the comfort of that feeling. Take a deep breath, bringing it into your heart, into every cell of your body. And as you exhale, it expands. So take another breath and inhale. And then exhale and come back to where you were as you began. Knowing that nothing is the same. And it is done.
And so it is. That was a wonderful way to bring everything together. You just continue to impress me with your abilities.
I'll tell you what, whoever does it continues to impress me. I had no idea where I was going today. So
that was beautiful. That was really interesting.
Thank you.
Right there. Till next time, my friend. Namaste.
Namaste.